When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
Why can't every day be like this? No simple road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
Is everybody in?
Sort of.
Sort of.
The ceremony's about to kind of begin.
Ceremony?
Ceremony.
That's different than a ceremony. That's when you do it on a mountain.
How about a ceremony?
That's when you do a ceremony with Melanie.
Ceremony.
Hey now, No Simple Road family. Welcome back to another edition of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, brought to you in collaboration with Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates.
What?
Go to Instagram, follow at Melt Mushrooms.
You're going to let them know that you found out about them from us. And then you're going to be like, hey, can I get a menu? And they're going to be like, yeah, here you go. Here's the 10 choices of chocolates that we have. Here's the 3 choices of gummies. And then if you don't like that, we got capsules.
That's true. 4 grams of their sacred mushroom blend in every bar. And for the month of December, they are doing the buy one, get one half off. So you can stuff those stockings with delicious melt mushroom chocolates and make your mind feel great.
And all of this is Santa approved. Put these in the stockings, hang these from the tree. You know, that's good times for everybody.
Get creative.
You could just keep squares in your pocket too. That's another thing you could do with it. But yeah, this episode of the Weekly Rewind is going to be a little different than normal Monday episodes where Apple, Mel, and I just hang out and talk. We have a guest with us this week, not in the studio, but Kris Howland of Heady Wax Fiends Record Club is with us once again to talk about the doings and goings on over there with Heady Wax Fiends, man. And we kind
of did like a check-in with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always just have a blast talking to Kris. But we did talk about the December release is something very special to Kris.
Near and dear to his heart.
This and also to us, because this was recorded here in Portland at the Get Down, the Polyrhythmics, which he went and recorded on Saturday, May 4th. That is the December release that is out now.
Yeah.
And if you all remember our previous interview with him, we talked to him just hours before that happened.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he headed out the door to do it.
You know, every once in a while, No Simple Road brings to us extra special human being. And Kris is one of those that, like, once he came to the house and we met him, we knew that we were going to be family. And
then that was further solidified when we went to Denver for this year's Dick's run, and we met his wonderful, wonderful partner, Chelsea. What?
Yeah. The two of them.
She's an incredible human being all by herself, and then together they just brighten up the corner that they were there in.
And they're amazing dogs.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties in that they have some of the releases announced for the beginning of 2025. Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, This Old Town. And then this one that Chelsea helped on, you'll hear
That's
about
right.
in there. The February release, Music Blooms Here. And then March is going to be Doc Watson.
So for those of you that don't know what Heady Wax Fiends is, it's a record club, and also they do vinyl releases for these artists. And this is not like a record club only for people that are nerds about vinyl and music. This is a record club that anybody can join. You go to the Facebook group, I think, and join up there. And it's a community of people that, like, you don't have to have a certain kind of record player, and it's not gatekeepy and gross and weird. It's a what's the word I'm looking for?
It's open to all.
Yeah. Accepting
fun
community
club.
of people that help each other find out about new rad music, and you get first dibs on these releases when they come out. And there's a lot of intention and love and care and just attention put into these album releases. Everything from the album art to the stickers that he puts in there, and the colors of the vinyl and the weight and all that stuff. Like, but again, that doesn't have to be your focus. Like, you could just be somebody that digs music and wants to find out about cool new stuff and hang out in a community with other people that are into that too.
There is a wait list right now to join. So not to join the Facebook group, but to join the Wax
Record
or the
club.
the record club. Yeah.
So you can go to Facebook and look up Heady Wax Fiends and join their Facebook group and hang out and talk to other people there. And then you can also go to HeadyWaxFiends.com and get on their wait list. And because they can only produce so many albums at a time. And, it's a thing. It's one guy, Kris, doing this work with his partner. And it's a lot of work for them. And it's, so they have to keep it exclusive.
Yeah.
But go over there and check it out, man. There's a lot of amazing work that they've done. And this conversation with Kris was a blast, man.
Yeah, it's
and
fun
we didn't
catching
want
up.
to sit on it for weeks. We wanted to get it out to y'all so you could hear it. So that's why we're doing this with the Weekly Rewind. I will do an abbreviated version of the business. How's that sound?
Do you want to do like a more even quicker abbreviation of our week?
Well, that's what I was going to
Sure.
say. I had one thing I kind of wanted to shout out. Last night, I had the opportunity to go to see comedian Phil Hanley, who put us on the guest list. Aaron and Mel had to attend a Christmas party, so I got to go with Sean McLean and Chris Cooch,
Stop bragging.
world's
okay?
finest,
Whatever,
Stop
Apple.
bragging.
to hang out for the night and go see Phil.
Apple's the
and
popular one.
Thank you so much, Phil, for inviting me and us. You killed it again. My face hurt last night. It's
killing me.
from laughing so much. And if none of you have ever seen Phil Hanley or not sure what we're talking about, we've had on the show. You should go listen to that episode.
Yep.
And if he comes to your town, you should see him. He does. I've heard somebody compare him. He does some of the best comedic crowd work since Robin Williams.
Damn.
Which that is high praise.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I've never heard that.
Yeah. So thank you, Phil.
Mel,
What?
you was your idea.
It is my idea.
Lay it, give it to him. Your week.
Well, Apple said we had to go to a Christmas party. Like, we didn't have to. I actually wanted to go to this Christmas party.
I didn't mean it like that.
My new gig at the naturopath's office. It was our office party, and it was really cool to bring Aaron to finally meet everybody that I work with, and we had a blast. It was super fun. The food was excellent. And last week was Aaron and I's anniversary, and then I won that prize. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I won a prize that day at the beach.
At the coast.
So we drove back to the beach this weekend and picked it up and had a super fun time, and it's just been really good hanging out with you and getting to actually have some relaxed time. And even though we are still busy with all of our to-dos, it's felt little bit more relaxy around here.
Yeah, it has been nice to be able to like spend quality time not working or doing something.
Not feeling rushed like we usually are, you know?
And the thing that Mel won, it is a work of art. You should
it's an art piece.
We should throw it up on Instagram for people to see. It is beautiful.
And as for me,
and how was your week, Gary?
My week's great, man. You know,
killing it with the bread.
For those of you that listen to the show, you know I was going through some emotional ups and downs the past few weeks, and I just this week like really started focusing more again on No Simple Road and getting us booked with some interviews. And we just did a interview with Pixie and the Party Grass Boys. And I've wanted to talk to them since we saw them at Winter Wondergrass. So thank you, Leah Concialdi, for hooking us up with that. And we have one coming up, John Mylander. I'm super stoked to talk to him. And yeah, we have a few more that I've booked, and it just made me feel better, like getting re-engaged with No Simple Road and like seeing it respond to me putting energy into it.
Isn't it funny how like we want to disengage and then we do it and then we want to re-engage?
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired. I don't want to do
relationship.
it. And then you're like, I want to do that thing. I really want to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is good to take a break. It was as your friend for a long time. It was really cool to see you kind of step back for a moment. Because we all, me, Mel, Aaron, all have access to the No Simple Road email. And I saw it got to like 200, 300, 400 email. Like you took a break.
Yeah, I did.
And when I came home the other night and was like, when I got home late and it was like, did you and Mel go ahead and do the intro or do we still need to record? You had not even thought about it.
Mm-mm.
You were like, oh my God, it didn't even cross my mind. For you to take a break for a minute.
Mentally.
It was really good.
Yeah,
for
it's been good. And I realized that if like during the holidays, if we miss a Friday on purpose, not miss it, but like we're not going to do an episode this week because it's a holiday or whatever, the world doesn't fall apart.
No.
It's incredible. I always thought it would. I thought there would be 0 listeners the next week when I went to go look, and it was be the end of the world, but it wasn't the end of the world. So
thank you all for not giving up on us.
Yeah. Thanks for believing in us, man. No, it felt good to get back in the saddle, and like I now know that it's okay to take a break, which I didn't know that.
Sometimes we need to re-know stuff or know it for the first time.
True.
You know,
Yep.
like sometimes like we can know things intellectually, but until it's applied, it's still just theoretical.
So on that note, everybody, just so you know, Christmas week, there's going to be no Friday episode because we're going to be celebrating the holidays
decided it.
and we're going to hang out. But you get this one now, and I think if I remember correctly, we did talk to Kris a little bit about balancing the thing you do, your side hustle, and your real life thing, and trying to keep your shit together, man, because it's not fucking easy.
No.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And,
You don't want to burn out.
No, and
Then
the
it's no good
messages
for
get
anybody.
burn out
crossed.
and fade away. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway,
Right on, Def Leppard.
follow no Simple Road at No Simple Road. Go to our website. Do the things you do at websites there, like merch and stuff. Go to Patreon and sign up there, and you can support us financially, which would be super dope for the holidays. If you wanted to, you listen to No Simple Road all year and you're like, I'm going to throw them $1 every month for the next 3 months. Go there, patreon.com/No Simple Road. You can call the Tepid line at 971-808-1524. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, which would be super cool for the month of December. Nobody's done it yet.
Nope,
Nobody
don't have
did it in
one yet.
October.
The last one of the year.
Come
You could
on,
be the
y'all.
one that finishes out 2024 and been like, they didn't get one since August. I'm going to hook them up with a little baby tiny Christmas present in December and just do that. That would be super sweet.
Yeah.
Just do it.
There's thousands
Do it,
of you
Poppy.
listening, man. One of y'all out there. Just hook it up, man. Come
Do it.
on, dude.
Please.
Anyway, and then last but not least, tell somebody you love about No Simple Road, right?
Hey,
That's the
No
most
Simple
special
Road,
way to
listen
learn.
to it.
Yeah, do that. All right, everybody. We're going to get you to this conversation with our brother, Kris Howland of Heady Wax. Aren't you ready?
Yeah.
without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Kris Howland.
Hi guys.
There it is.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up, man?
I'm good. I was gonna try to wear headphones, but they don't want to connect to my computer. So,
I don't think it'll make a difference.
Unless it bothers you.
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. I just don't know anything. This is past my technology.
You're doing great.
I like to do things that are, 70 years old.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. Yep. How's it going, man?
I can't complain. We've been hibernating all weekend.
We've been hibernating for months.
Yeah, we had quite the year, I guess.
Yeah, man. You had some like personal stuff go down, right?
We did. We had a pretty tragic loss the day after Dick's.
Oh no.
And then just busy as hell with the work life, We just had the Kitchen Dwellers, Dano Donato, and the Fretliners play a run in Denver, which is really cool for me because I've done releases with all those bands now. So
How was it like for you being at that show?
it was
the surreal
it was
meter off the
overwhelming.
chart. Yeah.
It was overwhelming. Like I was doing okay, and then like happy tears, sad tears. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I stayed psychedelic free for that, and I think it's probably a pretty good thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to appreciate it like that on your own head, so it's like the memory stays clear,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like it was like a real validation of the work and the stress, and then just bopping around like to go to the bathroom or get a beer on the way out. I just ran into so many of our members and subscribers, and it was a good feeling for sure. But it was the first two nights were just the Dwellers and Donato at Cervantes, and the third night they added the Fretliners with the Mission, and I was on fumes. I mean, we had a house full of people, and can't complain.
But you did it.
Yeah, and it doesn't get easier. I'll tell you that. We've been hibernating too, man, since our last shows that we went to, except for Sam Grissman, was like end of September
At Goose.
And then since then, man, we just been like holed up at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have anything coming up. We're going to Mexico for a week, but not to Streams and Soul. We didn't even really think about Streams and Soul being the same time we're down there. But we're just going to go to Tulum and just be by ourselves for a week. I don't think we've ever really had a vacation that wasn't based around family, friends, music, that kind of stuff. So
Same here.
That's a really
Almost
great
we talked
thing
about
to
that
make a
recently.
priority.
Like trying to do like everything is focused around music, which is awesome. But then you're not doing other things like camping and trips to go see family and
Yeah.
places, sleeping. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we're going to start trying to go somewhere warm every December.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah. And then I have a couple shows coming up at the like end of December, but those are really small, like stress-free shows. And we need more of that in our lives. That's kind of something we realized this year is like, we have as much fun, if not more fun, at an undersold show in a 150 person venue as we do at Red Rocks.
What is it about doing Heady Wax Fiends that creates stress for you when you go to a show?
Sometimes I have to work, and I mean, you guys know I like to party.
Yeah.
So
Right.
sometimes I have to go talk to people, and I feel like I might be a little too into the conversation.
Understood.
A little jacked. But it's not really stressful at the show. It's very fulfilling that so many people want to take time out of their experience to thank me for the things I've done and say hi and show their appreciation. And at the beginning of the year, Chelsea, my wife, said that it was time to lean into it or fucking stop doing it. Like I either had to figure out how to acknowledge the success rather than like just downplay it to everybody all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So
What's the
I
point of being
hope-
successful if you don't own it?
yeah. And she just had to leave for a client. She was hoping to jump in for the first couple
what'd
minutes.
you say?
Oh,
Give her a squeeze from me, please.
I will. I told her we'll get her on the next time. I'm gonna have to get a love seat in here, I guess.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we'll have to each. I'm just curious as if there's any of the tank left, because we'll have to do like a Zoom tank session together. That was still one of the funnest times. Like,
Oh yeah, thank you guys so much. I mean, that was one of the best night zeros I've ever had. Like I woke up the next day ready to go.
Us
you
too.
know? Chill,
Totally.
lots of good conversations. We had like people were rotating around so everybody could get to talk to each other. And we weren't partying at that level where we're all just screaming over each other, as you guys
No.
know.
No, it didn't get silly. It was
Yeah.
responsible partying. is
Well,
what it was.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
The tank is empty in the garage right now. I tell you what, living in this town's a fucking double-edged sword, because when you're partying and you can get a tank delivered in 45 minutes, it's awesome. And then when you're budgeting at the end of the month and you realize how many fucking tanks delivered to your house, like it kind of adds up. But I'm sure that'll probably be. I think that's sounds like a really chill Christmas, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Watch some movies. Yeah, that was a good night, you guys. I'm sorry we couldn't run into each other at Dick's, but I think that's why I was pushing so hard to have you guys come over after the
Yeah.
event, because I was like, I'll fucking lie to your face right now and tell you I'm going to do everything it takes to come find you to show.
Oh yeah. No.
Not
It's not happening.
Oh,
man.
no.
No. It's once you get in there and it starts. And,
All bets are off.
yeah.
Yeah, and we're just such creatures of habit that, you know, over the years, a lot of people know where to find us. But it's also like, man, when I'm running up those stairs to pee and grab a drink, I'm trying not to miss anything. Like, I'm pretty hyper-focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that will be a yearly tradition. We will be doing stuff from Fire on the Mountain every year.
I love it.
Day before day.
I love it.
Well, when we come back up there too, we're owed a tank, so
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
we'll be ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I know where you can keep it.
Kris.
Yeah, I love Fire in the Mountains. So I knew of them when they opened here, and then when I lived in Portland, I was like, holy shit, they're not from Denver, and I kind of figured out what was happening. Some of our oldest friends have worked there as long as they've been open, I think. In the Denver.
Wow.
And we had a really good night. So Torin from the Kitchen Dwellers and Silas Herman from many projects and Vince's son did a little show there. A couple of weeks, it's probably been a month. We had a really good time, and I had some sodas, and I think we're going to probably start doing listening parties there once a month.
Cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and my partner Eric and I have talked about this with like how dense we are in the markets we're in, like Denver and Portland. If we could get these kind of set up, we could ship one box here. Everybody in Denver, you know, can come through, have a couple drinks, listen to the record, talk about music, hang out, have some bomb-ass chicken wings. That's my focus for 2025, is to just kind of be Kris Howland of Heady Wax Fiends in my hometown, you know, start maybe presenting shows here and there, just trying to be more involved locally. And we do a lot of stuff locally already, artist-wise, but I think it's time for me to cash in on some of these benefits. You
Yeah,
know?
man.
Yes.
Well, you know,
Yes, Kris. I love to hear you saying that, because that makes perfect sense. It makes it to extend yourself in what you're doing, but in a more meaningful way. And that is owning it. You know what I mean? That's owning what you've done and like creating the name and like keeping it, I don't know, just like keeping it legit.
but I know what Kris is talking about, like not wanting to be that guy that's like, Oh yeah, that was me. I did that. You know what I mean? I've struggled with that with No Simple Road. It's
Totally.
how you
hard.
say,
I've known that about you since I met you. We talked about it the last time we hung out.
Yeah.
Like,
Mel too. You got called a celebrity at work. You're like, I am not a celebrity. And it's like, when you go to shows, do people recognize you and say hi to you? And she's like, well, yeah. And it's like, you're a celebrity of some type.
Of sorts.
Well, we also were talking about that same thing you just were about, like focusing more next year on doing things more around our home and stuff too. That
more local stuff.
Yeah, more local things. And
we were listening to that episode, and I have to say, I'm all for what you guys are talking about in the evolution of No Simple Road for next year. I think it makes perfect sense, you know, to kind of support this community that took you in 8 years ago, you know, that you guys have built-in families everywhere. Like, I don't have a lot of friends in Portland that don't know who you guys are. And, you know, bringing in, like, you know, those little mini concerts you were talking about in the house, you know, for a couple songs. I mean, that's the goal, I think.
Right. Going so big, like trying to be everywhere at once and do everything is great for a time, but it's not sustainable. And you and I are a lot alike, Kris. We'll burn ourselves out doing the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just, it's like that or nothing, you know? And so it only makes sense that if I'm going to lean in, I need to lean in a more conscious and healthy kind of a way.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely a few times this year where I could tell the party was getting in the way of what I really want to do. So I wouldn't say sobriety's in my future, but I've never really understood moderation. And I'm kind of hoping I can get a little bit better at that next year and pick my spots a little better, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's been a journey for us too, is
I mean, these towns we live in are just so set up to just have the most fun all the time.
and what we enjoy doing is steeped in that culture as well. And so it's hard to avoid unless you're making a specific stance to do so.
Yeah.
You know,
when you're going out too, we had a friend the other night that was talking about this. It's like, I tried to go to a show. I was like, I'm going to go sober. And I show up and I run into a bunch of my friends and all have really good things. And, you know, that's how it works. It's like, I left everything at home, good intentions, and then still partied but, and had fun. But it was like, damn it.
Yeah. It almost becomes to a point where, like, it's like people want to share things with you when they run into you. Yeah. You know, and like,
ask Frasco.
Ask Frasco about that one.
Yeah. He's a professional. I'm an amateur. I wouldn't try to hang with that man.
No, I couldn't hang with him for a night. Be like, dude.
We've run into each other a couple times. He lives here now, and I'm always like, hey, dude,
good on you, buddy. Keep going. Kris, tell me what's going on with Heady Wax Fiends right now.
So we are actually really pumped for. This is December 1st. But we should be getting delivery of that Polyrhythmics Live at the Get Down release any day now.
Yeah.
I've heard the test pressings of it, but I haven't really seen the artwork in person yet. But it's fantastic. And then let me think. So right now we're actually sold out, which has been a long time coming. But today we announced the backup variant of Tony Rice Manzanita.
Okay.
So we did it. The Spanish translation for Manzanita is a little apple. So the subscriber color was like this orange red for that. And then I did another one, and this is actually what they call natural vinyl, because when people say they don't like colored vinyl, I like to remind them that black is a color in vinyl. So Natural vinyl is like almost opaque. It's like an off-white. So they went ahead and mixed in some black swirl into that natural look.
Oh, it looks like
Gorgeous.
marble,
Yeah.
like gray and white marble almost.
Yep. So I called it Stony Point from one of the songs on the album because
That's
the
super
color
cool.
kind of reminded me of like a rock outcropping. So we released these today, actually, a little bit ago. This one's a limited edition 500. Anybody can pick it up on the website. And then I went ahead and built a bundle of rounder titles that we've done. So right now for $68, you can pick up that Manzanita, the variation of Bailiff Like Drive we did, and then the variation of JD Crow and the New South that we did. So that's kind of where we're at right now. December is going to be, I think, the most amount of records we've ever shipped in a month because we've been trying to get rid of a lot of back stock. So we've been running a lot of bundle sales and stuff. But it's really exciting to be sold out. I have a wait list right now.
What?
And I'm like the pretty girl that has too many suitors at the dance.
Heck yeah.
So coming up, the things I can talk about today, I finally did an album for Chelsea after 3 full years of doing this thing. So the January record for the first time on vinyl is Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, This Old Town.
Okay.
And I did that on Chelsea picked everything for it. So she picked like this off blue called Wisconsin Water based off of one of the songs on there. And then in February, one of the titles coming in from my partner Eric Meyer's side is a nonprofit festival in Kentucky called Laurel Cove. And one of their biggest, one of the things they help the most with the donations is a no-kill animal shelter down there.
Cool.
So they recorded the festival last year or this year, 2024, ran a compilation on it. That sounds great. Great artwork. And then we did a bunch of copies for them at no cost and so they can sell and help this animal shelter. It's a little more country than me, but John R. Miller's on there, the Red Clay Strays, who had like just an amazing year. It's kind of a breakout year. And a lot of others, like kind of like regional acts. And then in March, I'm going to repress Doc Watson self-titled.
What?
Cool.
So
Yeah, I saw
Kris,
that one on the site.
how do you? How does that happen? Like,
Oh, well, dude, just like everything else, there's a bunch of things that had to accidentally happen for it to happen.
yeah, I want to hear the story, man.
All right, man. So there's a company called Real Gone Music, and they specialize in licensing stuff that's out of print, maybe that's never been on vinyl before. They kind of came into my life when they started to repress the Dix picks. So they've done 1, 2, and 3 so far on vinyl. But what really happened was they did a repressing of John Hartford Aeroplane, which is a Mount Rushmore album for me. And I didn't know about it ahead of time. I had no working relationship with this company, but I found out about it. I posted it in Heady Wax Fiends. The Fiends did the Fiends thing and fucking sold that. They sold it out. And it was actually so many hits in a while that they thought like it was a cyber thing.
Okay.
So they were kind of like, who the fuck is Kris Howland? And I guess that was maybe like an internal email title even. I'm not really sure. So they reached out and they're like, damn, that's really impressive. Like, tell us about this Facebook group. And I told them about it. And they, at first they're like, hey, we'll give you early access to titles we think that work in the groups, kind of like a homie pre-sale deal. And I said, yo, I actually run a record club too. And they said, okay. I think maybe at the beginning they were just kind of brushing me off. And they started talking about some of the labels that they could get me anything I wanted from. And one of those is Rounder Records, which is a Nashville based, just like everybody who's anybody in bluegrass did at least one record there.
Right.
So I said, okay, in the next 2 years, I'll do Bailiff Like Drive, JD Crow in the New South, Tony Rice Manzanita. And I I'd really like to do a Doc Watson title. And then they had availability to a label called Concord or Vanguard. Sorry, Vanguard is under that umbrella, so I could get that one. And you know what, man? I was joking about this at a party a couple weeks ago. Manzanita was released in 1979, and nobody until my wook ass 2 years ago ever asked to repress it. So we have the very first vinyl repress of that. We have the very first vinyl repress of Bela Fleck Drive. And my goal on that was kind of as an homage to some of my favorite artists, and make their favorite artist albums.
Okay.
And the other thing is like, I hate secondary markets with a burning passion. So I ruined a bunch of people's retirement plans because all of those albums I mentioned were over $100 sealed, expensive and in like kind of good shape too. So, we made 1,000 of each of those and flooded it. And like with the JD Crow and the New South, Jared Walker, mandolinist for Billy Sheehan's band, and I were partying together one night, and he was like appalled I didn't know the album. So he actually wrote me liner notes for it.
Oh shit!
Right on.
So that was really cool. And then I'm definitely this Doc Watson one. It's our 33rd release. So when I was teasing it in the group, a bunch of people just naturally thought I was finally doing a Billy Sheehan's record.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do a Billy Sheehan's record. I did a record for Billy Sheehan's.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, yeah. So, I guess the fun thing about all of these is, real talk, guys, I get done with them. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do after this? And there's always something else, which has been really good so far, right? Because that's my biggest fear is doing something and then feeling like I have nothing left, So I think we're going to do one more of these big bluegrass represses about a year from now. And then we might kind of switch genres on that repress thing a little bit. I'm not really sure. But our main focus going forward is going to be more of these self-presses where we find, the bands that are good enough to be on vinyl but don't have the means.
Right. And also like with this Polyrhythmics live release, are you going to be doing more live stuff like that?
Yeah. So I hope that Blake and I can get it worked out to put one out every December as like as a volume thing. And then I'm definitely looking at probably creating another series from Denver. My really good friends started this company called Ambient Live. My buddy Charlie Shanka and Brian, and they're pretty much taken over the webcast game. So we have been talking for like a year about getting one of the small rooms in Denver and, capturing the soundboard, capturing all the video, putting out an album from a local band. It's a lot harder than just taking a studio project from somebody and paying money to put on vinyl. But I love live releases. So, hopefully I'm doing at least 2 live releases in our 12-month calendar every year.
Is there, I know that Denver's like, your music scene is crazy good, like just like Portland.
Yeah.
Is there any local bands that we don't know about that you're excited about right now?
Yeah. So the one that caught me off guard was a band called the Banshee Tree. And when I was back in Portland at the Get Down for my birthday in February, they opened for your guys' homies, Yak Attack, right? I think I hear you guys talk about Yak Attack.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they're fucking good. That was a fucking high energy, fun show. And then this year for Memorial Day, the Dwellers played Mishawaka, which is this tiny venue on the Poudre de Cache River outside of Fort Collins. And Banshee Tree opened one of those shows and fucking blew my mind. And of course, their lead guitarist has the same last name as my wife, so she didn't let me forget about it.
Oh,
that's right.
Tom LaFarge. Yeah.
I'm going to go see them on the 28th at the Fox Theater. And, between you, me, and your thousands of listeners, I wouldn't be shocked to see a project come from them down the road.
You know, it's funny that you bring them up, man. We found out about them in 2019. The first time we saw them was at Northwest String Summit.
And, oh, hell yeah. Nice.
We like immediately became friends with them.
We just bonded.
Yeah.
They hung out and played a private little show for us. And
fuck yeah, guys. That's awesome. Of course they're your friends.
Yeah. That band is really unique.
I'm looking forward to seeing them again now because they had kind of a lineup change. Nick that played the violin or the fiddle violin left to do his own solo stuff, and they brought in a sax player, and I forget his name at the moment, but now there's a sax player.
The keys too, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of doing that multi-instrumental thing. Cool. Put in a good word for me next time you talk. Yeah. Yeah.
They would love to. Are you kidding me? They would love to. Tom and Michelle are great friends of ours. In fact, Tom was just here in Portland and we were supposed to hook up, but just never got, we're never able to do it. But Michelle, the drummer, we love her. She's incredible. The whole team,
any band like
team.
The female drummers are badasses. And Michelle is at the top of the heap of badass female drummers.
Well, and she's such a positive person too. Like,
yeah, she's the boss of that band too. As far as I understand, she does all their booking and all the management stuff. We've had a conversation. So yeah, I hope to see something like that from them in about a year.
There's a cat that is in your neck of the woods that I want to put on your radar. His name is Grant Livingston.
Okay.
Oh, are you hip to him at all? This guy is just trust me when I tell you, incredibly talented.
That's who he is, the real deal. He is this incredible, like his voice, his tenacity, his love for music, and
one of the sweetest amazing. People you ever meet too.
Amazing.
Yeah, put us in touch for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Kris, it's hard, man. It's a trip when you're the thing that you love as your like hobby starts to become the thing that you do for work, right?
Yeah.
And that whole thing that Chelsea said to you about you either need to lean in or quit. Why did she say that to you?
I think that she's been supportive of this thing for the whole time. Mm-hmm. And I think that she got sick of me crying about stuff, whining about stuff, not accepting success. And that's like our little code word for like, there's only one way to do this, And I needed to hear it. I did, because it was, man, I had a lot of imposter syndrome. I had a lot of thoughts of like, what am I doing this for? Is this to be cool because I wasn't cool in junior high? Or is this to count in this passion of mine that I've always had, but I didn't have a skill set to be involved? Or was I doing it because it made me happy? So, as I go through success and failures, I mean, there's part of me that's like, fuck it. This is still just a hobby that makes a little bit of money on the side, right? It's not my career. But I think what she really wanted me to do, I'll tell you guys this, the honest truth is she wanted to see me as happy as the people who stopped to say hi and thank me for turning them on to this or turning them on to that or providing the community. Because she knew I should be, but I always have this guarding thing of like, this sounds really conceited, but a lot more people recognize me than I recognize. And it takes a lot of meetings in this life for me to remember who the fuck you are. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm not like, sometimes I'm seeing 3 of you. So I think Chelsea just really wanted me to see myself the way I'm seen. And that's been such a godsend.
Yeah,
we're right here to Chelsea.
We're here to put the people that we love into perspective. Sometimes you don't see how you look from behind. So you can't tell, and you also can't look at your own face, so we are counting on the people that love us to tell us and kind of lead us in that right way, especially when we're either not giving ourselves enough credit, or maybe we're truly can't see it. Maybe we're just like truly incapable of seeing it. And that's when like, no, you gotta like, come on, Aaron, you had that.
We're still going through that.
I think that we all go through it all the time in multiple phases. And sometimes it's easy for us with certain things, and sometimes it's a lot harder with other things. The thing is that you have to walk the line between not being conceited or pompous, or, like that cool dude that knows everything, and being like, like take the pat on the back and be like, have your chest up and your chin up, and like own it.
Well,
and
the fact of the matter is, Kris, that like none of these repressings would be there if you hadn't have done it. You know what I mean?
And that's the legacy that I talk about as a non-breeder. I listened to the Legacy Rewind, and I was like, damn, I get all this so much, because I just assumed I wasn't ever going to have one. Right. But I've done things that people didn't think I could do, and they're going to be here a lot longer than I am. And that shit will make me deflect some miscues, some mistakes and mishaps. And I think that's the other thing too, is that, as our own individual people, we're the only ones who know everything about us.
Yep.
Right. And fucking, that's a lot. And I'd be looking at somebody and just assume that they know the 15 mistakes I made that week. You know what I mean? Because I can't get over them, but they have no clue.
No, totally. And I like
none at all.
Mel and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I go through this thing with No Simple Road of like, who the fuck am I to say anything to anybody ever about anything? Yeah. Like exactly what you're talking about. I know all my dark shit. So like now I'm going to get on here and be like, well, whatever, it's hard. And I think it's true with anybody that's doing anything creative or from a place of like, you love the thing. So you build something out of it. You gotta continually ask yourself the questions that you and I are asking ourselves. Like, am I doing this for other people? Am I doing it for myself? Is this fun? Like, we got to continue to ask ourselves that, because we change and the thing changes, and you got to keep checking in.
Yeah. You got to check in.
Yeah. You guys are completely right. It's just kind of this thing of, that was another thing that took me a long time to kind of acknowledge and recognize. And it was actually my really good friend. We call her Miaza, and she's my heartbeat in Portland, like my home away from home. And she was like, "You're an artist, dude." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, I'm a facilitator for artists." And, a couple more cocktails into the night, I started to really understand what she meant, is that I had found my art, right? And I'm not really making original things, but my art is an ability to build community and make suggestions kind of on this music side of things. And it still is really intimidating from time to time to realize that, 500 people a month blindly give me money for music. But I think that the success I've found in 2024 and building on into 2025 is a direct reflection of all the work I put into those self-doubts and kind of, a safe acknowledgement of who I am, right? Because, I mean, we all know the overly confident people. It's just never been my style. Yeah. And even at the beginning of this, just acknowledging this made me kind of feel like the shitty 80s high school character.
Oh my gosh.
I totally get you, man.
Breck.
Like, that sounded like Biff.
But if we don't own our shit, then it doesn't carry any weight.
Yeah.
Because you're the one making it.
Well,
man.
like, think about, like, this person who's had like this great impact on you, and you've maybe even updated some habits in your life based on not necessarily what this person said, but like just by being inspired by them. And then you meet them and then they're just like, you know, sheepish and won't look you in the eye and, you know, kind of shuffling their feet. Like, you want that person that like is inspiring and hopeful and motivational and changing, that helps you change, to have this air about them that can carry that.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally 100%.
And it's just something to aspire to, you know what I mean? You don't, it doesn't have to be a perfect way, but something that just kind of, you know, I don't know, provides that light, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, they say never meet your heroes. And I think maybe when I was younger, I would have agreed with that. But as I've matured and grown up, what I've come to realize is that my heroes are a lot more like myself than I think who they really are, right? I mean, my most successful musician friend is a ball of just self-doubt, anxiety, imposter syndrome, and nobody's had a bigger year than he did. And they're just people. We're all just people. Yeah. And I think that was one of the things I had to realize, is that I can only make up for things that I actually did, right? And I can't be trying to proactively like guard people from mistakes that I think I'm going to make. Right?
Yeah, no shit.
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yes, let go of that worry. That'll give you a lot of space for some fun stuff in there.
It sure has, Mel. I mean, it really has. I've been reading more this year.
Cool. Anything good?
Well, yeah, the last thing that I read was I finally got to read the Leftover Salmon biography. Wow. It was like a plain book of mine for a long time. You know, it was like on my Kindle or whatever. And I just wrapped that up. That I was around for a lot of that, so it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool to see it from a historical perspective. And then I'm not a big fiction guy, but I recently picked up the Martin novel that this new House of Dragons is based off of. So I've been reading that. But, you know, I guess I've always wanted to learn when I read. I read all the big fiction books growing up that everybody should, you know. Like, I joke with my homies all the time, if you're like 30 to 60 and heady, there's a point in your life where On the Road was the best book.
Of course. Yep.
Right. And Hunter S. Thompson was the best author ever. We all kind of went through that. It was like our Doors phase when everybody was like really.
That's exactly when I read that. That's so funny. Yes.
Like that 1 year, like, he's the greatest poet to ever live.
I listened to American Prayer over and over and over. Totally.
I read that. What is it? No one gets out alive.
Yeah. Oh, for me, it was like Peace Frogs and being like that stoner 17-year-old that knew everything and be like, man, it's like, you know, he's talking about dark history as a country. But I tend to read, I really like historical books on areas I'm visiting or I've lived.
Really?
Yeah, I've read a shit ton about the Oregon Trail. The Eisenhower Tunnel on I-70 was a book I read a couple of years ago, and that was like a engineering marvel that connected the two sides of Colorado.
I would have never in a million years, if you had held a gun to my head and said, pick Kris's book interests, this wouldn't have been it.
Would not come up. But
and another thing I like to do when I fly is I will get an autobiography or biography of an artist, and then I'll download their discography to my phone so I can listen to it on the plane, and I'll literally sit there without any need, just listening and reading through.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're a student, like
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I just like I like story times. You know, I like hearing people's stories. I like telling stories. And then, you know, I like to be right when people are wrong sometimes.
Yeah. To know what you're talking about.
So when is the Heady Book Fiends Club?
Oh, man, I don't know. I promised a friend of mine I would write his book first. So
We just got to get a book club going where you get heady books.
I'd love to get a heady book club going, and I'm really excited for Mexico because it's going to be a really good time for me to catch up on some reading. Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple books that are probably a little jargony music industry kind of stuff.
Okay.
I feel like this far in, it's probably time to learn a little bit about what I'm doing instead of just fucking making it all up and hoping it works.
Hey man,
I was gonna say,
you've done
doing
pretty fucking good so far.
But he's trying to level up. So
I get it. No, I get it. I get it.
I was gonna say, I got to ask something going back to what you said earlier because it keeps bouncing around in my head. You said people in the record club, there's a lot of people that don't like colored vinyl. Is there a reason, or is that just
not in the record club?
That's my favorite. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just in the community in general.
Because it's not traditional, or
I tell people this all the time, Aaron. Please don't take offense to this. I am not an audiophile. I'm a music fan because I use equipment to listen to music, and audiophiles use music to listen to equipment. And in that era, they have a lot of fucking opinions about, what sounds best, what weight sounds best, and all of that. And my deal is like, I tell people this all the time. My life would be really fucking boring if I only listened to records. My motto is any format available all the time. I definitely do way more digital listening than I could ever hope to on vinyl, right? I mean, the Spotify rap stats, right? If I'm like, this year, I'm like, you should see my fucking SoundCloud, Because it's like early mixes, NDA fucking shit, you know what I mean? Like, so... that's our whole niche, though. And the colored vinyl aspect of it started as something like, why are these people going to pay us more money for something they can buy? And then I really leaned into it. And I'll tell you what, man, I probably put 10 hours plus thought into every release that way. So I'll listen to it a lot. I'll get on Wiki. I just like stalk these artists. I'm looking for something that I can connect a color to. Sometimes I name it after a song. Sometimes it's lore from the fan base. Sometimes I'll go to like their hometown. Like I did this album with Madeline Hawthorne, and the cover looked really good for like a red and white kind of deal. And the pressing plant had this one available called Candy Cane. And in her hometown in Bozeman, Montana, at the time, there was a street that's like nationally known for Christmas decorations, and it's called Candy Cane Lane.
Okay.
So Candy Cane Lane colored vinyl, and that's the kind of shit that I hope I can keep doing. And that was where I would really start to let myself down if I kind of started to mail in those little details, because a lot of people don't notice, but there's always a couple people on every release that are like, holy shit, I know why you did that. You know what I mean? Like they know that band better than I ever could.
And that's being an artist.
That's what makes those a piece of art to me too. The colored pressings it's a piece of art. Like the Bella Fleck on Thanksgiving, we busted it out and put that one. Had not played that one yet, and the like brownish marble on it is beautiful.
Dylan Gertstatter nailed that color pressing for me. I knew I was going to do it, and I wanted to do something based off that old wooden car, right? Like it's like an old Ford or something. And we were tossing around all these different numbers, like Detroit stuff, all these different ideas. And then he came in with side panel swirl. And that was kind of the jump off point where I was like, they all have to be that good.
Yeah. And now you're 10 hours in on each release trying to find the thing.
Yeah.
Looking at different colors.
We're doing the hype sticker art now too. Has been a lot of fun. I think we talked about this last time I was on, but I wasn't on video. So for every release now, let me find a good one here. Yeah, this one's great. So I know my members pretty well, and I spend a lot of time just seeing what they're talking about, what they're listening to. So we do these unstuck hype stickers now. And it's a 3x10 sticker. You can put it anywhere. A lot of people just put it like in the cellophane or the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So the top now, we hire an artist for every release. And this is Kelly Finnegan's last album, A Lover Is Born. Monster album. One of our original, like our very first day subscribers who's always stayed in the club's name is Garrett Melby. And he's in Missouri and he live paints and he is really prolific. So I'm not saying I sent him an early link to listen to it so he'll be inspired.
But something might have happened.
It might have happened.
Right.
And then the middle of our sticker is a little write-up. And I was doing these for a long time. And I wrote some good ones, but I think I kind of started to get sick of my own voice on them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to the members for those too. And my really good friend, he lives right down the street. He's also the person who told me to start a record club, David Johnson. He got to write this one.
Oh, that's
Chelsea's
dope.
writing the Horseshoes and Hand Grenades one. I'm doing the Doc Watson one though. I'll tell everybody that right now. You're not fucking.
You're not sick of your own voice now.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I need to hear my own voice again.
But that's just engaging my community.
Yes.
Yeah, it's brilliant, man.
I have a lot of friends who are really good lot artists. They do a lot of fan stuff. They do a lot of art prints. One of the ones who's done a bunch of work for me, Jack Firestone at Party Time Designs. He does hype stickers for us. He does art prints for us. One of our really good friends, Matt Crocher, we've worked with him. I mean, the goal is to engage these people a little bit more and empower them a little bit more in this process that, a lot of people are really guarded by.
Well, and it then becomes less of a passive community and more active than you know what I mean? So you've been talking about like doing meetups and now the members are involved with the actual production of the releases and they're getting to know each other and they know you and it's an actual community that's building and doing something together instead of just people that are part of a record club that buy records.
Exactly. And I may have told you this the last time I was on with you. I came up with the name of Heady Wax Fiends on the toilet. And it was a kind of a dig at some of me and my friends, because my friends would be like, you'd say something that you thought was really profound, all spun out, and my buddy would be like, so heady of you, bro. So that was kind of my angle. And then we sold our first shirts, and I was like, man, if I would have known this was going to be on a t-shirt, I would have put more thought into this. And that quickly went away because all of our stuff is recognizable to the point where you can't really mistake it for anything else.
Right.
And literally every time I go to a show now here or in Portland, I see somebody wearing our stuff, and it's just really cool. Like Torn wore a Heady Wax Fiend shirt one time on stage. Probably more than the one I'm talking about. But I was like, we fucking made it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You are a part of the wider musical community. You did the thing you set out to do. And you know what? The best stuff happens on the toilet, not just taking a shit.
Good work gets done there. Yeah.
But I think that a lot of good ideas are the name No Simple Road is a mistake.
Yeah, I've been missing fucking Ripple for a bit. I need to talk to you about that.
Yeah,
Well,
it was a
I thought you were
total
going to say I
mistake.
came up with that one on the toilet too.
No, I went on the toilet, but it was a mistake. And
I was waiting for that too, Apple.
But I think that some of the best stuff happens that way, because that way we're not in our own fucking way, overthinking the shit and trying to be too heady about it.
Yeah. Well, and to your first part, I hope that you understand that you need to feel exactly the same way that you are, and the three of you are.
Thanks, man. I'm trying.
Of this thing, man. I mean, there's stuff that has happened that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. I was going to send you this text on your birthday, but I wanted to tell all three of you, without a doubt, my life is better and will continue to be better because I met you guys. I think that's something we need to say to each other more, you know?
Absolutely.
you.
Same, man. I
Well,
told you this in the text, but the hospitality that you showed us really like was impactful for all three of us, independent of each other. So,
yeah. You're
Meant a lot, man.
you're like collaborating with us on the thing at Fire on the Mountain, and then coming back to your house that night and getting to meet the dogs and everything. And it was like
Family.
it became family. Like,
Yeah, Chelsea still talks about that night.
Chelsea's amazing.
Her and Mel just magnetized together.
It's crazy.
I could have stayed with Chelsea hanging out on the couch for the rest of the weekend and been fine with it.
I know.
Well, Fish was playing.
I mean, it
well,
was.
if there had been no fish, we could have spent we could have spent 4 days with you guys just hanging out and having fun.
All right, Kris, I have to ask you: have you heard any fish rumors?
No, I haven't heard much outside of this possible West Coast thing early next year.
Okay, you're hearing the same thing we are.
Yeah.
It's funny. People ask us like, "You guys have to know, right?" You're like, "Who the fuck is going to tell me?" Trey ain't calling me, man. I don't know.
I talk to Trey all the time.
I used to be really bad at secrets. There's this part of me for a long time that wanted to be the first person to say something on Facebook that I got told that I wasn't supposed to know. But working with, 20 artists a year on records has really helped with that. So,
because you can't say shit.
Yeah. Although I did hear this last night. And I think it was said from stage. So Leftover Salmon does the Boulder Theater Friday and Saturday every Thanksgiving. And they have Sam Bush. And then this year they had the Fretliners, who we put out an album for this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Fretliners, one of my favorite albums we've done.
Yeah, it's one of the ones you gave
us one.
Nice. Yeah. The dude sounds like Del McCurry.
Yeah.
So they were there, and the night before, Mountain Grass Unit opened. They're not local, but they are, in answer to your earlier question, fucking absolutely obsessed with them since renewal. But it sounds like the Leftover Salmon are going to co-headline Red Rocks with the Kitchen Dwellers Memorial Night with a local band called the Clay Street Unit as their opener. So there's something that I see.
We've heard of Clay Street.
Yeah.
They're fire. Yeah, if I could put out 12 bluegrass albums a year, I would have already done one with them.
These young cats that are coming up in the bluegrass scene are just extremely talented.
Yeah.
They're the ones we had. Are you familiar with Broken Compass Bluegrass?
Just from your podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, another
amazing, one. Very young.
Shadowgrass too.
Yeah, Shadowgrass.
Shadowgrass is in my if anybody wanted to talk about the favorite albums of the year that I didn't make, Shadowgrass is right there. That album. Yeah. There's the kids are on fire, and what I'm starting to hear a lot from these progressive-ish bluegrass bands is bands that remind me of my Yonder Mountain Stream band lineup without sounding like they're trying to, right? I can tell these are like they're like my friend's kids, you know what I mean? A couple years older maybe.
Yes.
And I really like that, and that's what I got from Mountain Grass Unit. And I remember Mountain Grass Unit during the pandemic. My buddy lived in Birmingham, and I had some other buddies down in the Gulf Shores, and they would talk about them all the time. And they were like fucking teenagers back then. I mean, like they were crushing dust in a baggie in the bedroom and stuff. And, and then other things come up and other things happen. My regret is I wish I probably would have gone to Friday night and caught up with Mountain Grass and Salmon, but I really just needed a weekend off, and I don't think they're going anywhere. And if you guys are listening, please return my email.
Yeah, write them back, man.
Really fucking want to make your next record on vinyl for you.
Kris,
at this point, I have to do it.
You got to do it, yeah. How was renewal?
Dude, I had a really good time. And I knew that this was probably going to happen going in. there's a strong possibility that my man wasn't going to be able to finish the festival, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as his homie and a fan, I would have been beside myself had he chosen to stay.
It was the classiest move ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, Molly Tuttle fucking showed up, and the Mountain Grass kids did great. And, Jerry Douglas is there. Like, you're not having a bad time at a festival with Jerry Douglas. I thought they did a really good job with it. I did not expect or deserve a refund. That shit blew
That
my
was a
fucking-
move that blew my
that
mind.
blew everybody's mind. I
Yeah.
think that was
And-
like, wow.
I think, there's a few of us that kind of had this idea at the announcement, but I think that I got a lot of traction on mine. I sent every penny to Asheville Relief
Aw.
because dude, I got my money's worth. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing drugs in a field with my friends for 3 days with music. I mean,
Done.
exactly. I
Good
mean,
times.
typically I'd say I've done one Fish festival, I've done all the renewals, but in a traditional festival setting, I buy a ticket because of a headliner or a band. And by the time I leave there, that wasn't the experience that I
Yeah.
think of when I think that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Some side stage act, or just, acts of degenerateness. And
Well, that's
I
how
thought Renewal was fantastic. I'm gonna miss it. I think that it's pretty well known now that in its form as we know it, it's not happening there anymore. But it was a blast. I mean, I've always had a good time there. It's always too fucking cold, but it's kind of like the end of the year for all of us. We all travel down there, rent houses together, stay in RVs together and stuff. So it's like, it's a real big theme for our crew. But if Bill or any of you guys are listening, let's take it to fucking Mexico and do that.
Do it. Let's do it in Portland.
Talk about cold.
Yeah,
true.
or real talk, and I have no inside info on this whatsoever. I don't think that the Rothbury site would be out of play.
Where's? Oh yeah.
Forest setup, it's all ready. It's in his home state. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to just stop doing as much too, which has been my advice for a while.
Yeah, dude, your dad.
Yeah,
now.
he's been
Your dad.
going hard for years. I mean,
And
Yeah, so
River
that's a
deserves
long
dad.
answer, but I had a very positive experience at Renewal.
Dope. Yeah, I was blown away by the refund thing, and I always say that Trey is the classiest musician in the business today, but Billy is right there with him. He didn't have to do that. Like you said, people went and they got what they paid for mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's festivals that didn't even happen this past year that fucking kept people's money. So
Kept your fucking money. Exactly, dude. Yeah. And that's the thing about it, is that he's always going to exclude class. Fucking wild though. Like, homie's good enough friends with Ringo Starr to borrow his
jet. I know. What the fuck, man?
What the hell, dude? Who are you? And speaking of Trey and Billy, so we were gonna have a really quiet kind of October, and then on a Sunday, somebody texted me that the Halloween theme was gonna be "Oh Brother, We're Out Thou."
Mm-hmm.
So we last minute sent it to Baltimore. It was great. We stayed with some friends out of town, did the 2 shows, spent some time with Chelsea's family because she grew up outside of Baltimore, and we went to a Ravens game, and then flew home got home at midnight. It was a really good time, but I'll have to say I saw a lot of Papa Trey in the production of this Halloween show.
Oh,
now, mind
really?
you, Billy has been doing these for a while, but
Right.
this year is a little more than it has been.
Like a little more Broadway.
Thanks. That's exactly what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
It was a little more Broadway. It was fun as hell. Oh Brother, We're Out Thou is, in my opinion, one of the most important albums to the current acceptance of bluegrass by other music fans. There's a couple albums that have really done a lot. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? That kind of revived bluegrass, and then we saw a lot of like Newgrass Revival, Bela Fleck, like a lot of stuff in the shadow of that. And without a doubt, I think that Oh Brother, We're Out Thou and the soundtrack helped bands like Yonder Mountain Stream and be able to headline fucking Red Rocks.
Yeah,
you know?
agreed. Yeah, I actually just went back and started rewatching the movie again.
We watched it the other night. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was really fun seeing like the people that he had join him on stage. Like he had Sierra Hull there. He had Lindsay Lou there. A lady I wasn't familiar with, and I hope I get her name right, Rachel Davis.
Okay.
Just a voice from heaven. Absolutely. Like I had to keep looking up every time she'd take something like a lead on something.
Yeah.
Didn't know who it was. Jerry Douglas was there. Two of the actors from the movie were there. So like the gentleman who played the Robert Johnson character.
Oh yeah.
He was a guitar player. He fucking killed it, dude. And then so not Turturro and not Clooney, but the other third lead.
Oh yeah.
He was there.
Kind of goofy dude.
Yeah. Oh God.
He was there doing his own thing too. And you know, we hadn't traveled for Billy Streams, I think, since 2022. We've kind of just hunkered down here, and it was fun. Baltimore was a fun town to like party in. I drank a lot of Orange Crushes. I went to like probably a top 10 record store in the country called the Sound Garden.
Okay.
And they actually were the first record store to start Record Store Day, which we just had on Black Friday. And then we have it in April every year. So that was a fun little send trip. I almost forgot to talk to you guys about that.
Did you do did you do the other show or just the Halloween one?
We did both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figure if you're already there, you got to do the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, man, I got the text and I was like, Chelsea, this would be pretty cool. And she's a diehard Ravens fan too. And I was like, oh, and there's a home game on Sunday.
That's sweeten the deal.
Yeah, this is like a Sunday night, right? And I'm like, I have to talk to my boss. I gotta talk to my boss. I'm in PTO fucking hell all the time at work. I'm not very good at going to work. So I'm like waiting for him to get in the office, and she's texting me the flights that she booked but they're refundable if he says no. The hotel we're staying at, it's refundable if he says no. And I was like, Josh, that's my boss's name. I was like, I have to go to the scene in Baltimore. My wife just spent like $2,000 in the winter.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Yeah, she's like, here's our seats for the football game. But it was a good time to remind ourselves we can still be kind of spontaneous and have fun like that.
Yeah.
You just reminded me with the Ravens. You just reminded me too. It's like, oh shit, the game's on right now because I'm an Eagle.
Yeah, it is.
I'm an Eagles fan, and the Eagles are beating the Ravens right now.
What do we got? Give me some deets.
21-12 with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
Well,
Anything can happen. My dad always says.
Oh yeah,
that.
anything can happen, but the Eagles are dynamite this year. Oh,
Bogers.
I was a lifelong Browns fan until they signed Deshaun Watson. My wife's a massage therapist, so I couldn't root for that team anymore. I've been a free agent for a couple of years, and this year I decided to root for the Ravens. So, damn it.
Well, the Ravens are awesome. I mean, they've always been a tough team. I was talking yesterday. I was down. I had to go for my job working at a dispensary down in Eugene because there was the Oregon Ducks were playing the Washington Huskies.
Go Ducks.
Big rivalry, and I was down there, and I learned way more about college football than I ever known being down there all day yesterday. But everybody's talking about that game. They're like the Eagles and the Ravens. Somebody's always getting hurt on both teams. They go at it. Those are two tough teams. Yeah. Sports ball. What do you think, Aaron?
Mel, how's the practice going?
Practice is going great, actually.
She's crushing it.
Yeah. I think that it took me a minute to kind of get my stride because No Simple Road, my job, and then my practice. And then in the meanwhile, there's a lot that goes into preparing. So it's not just like
He
the
knows.
actual hours worked. Yeah. So it just for a while, I just felt like it was pulling me in all directions, and I don't necessarily feel like that anymore. So I'm really starting to enjoy it, and
you're booked out.
yeah, and I'm getting booked out, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's the things that you want to happen. Thank you very much. Always thinking about ways to improve it. The room, the services, whatever. It's in my brain. It's in my head all the time, and I'm loving it.
Hey, Kris, if people want to sign up for Heady Wax Fiends, where do they go?
So they'll go to headywaxfiends.com and they can purchase past titles right now. We have some really good sales going on right now, but they need to join a wait list if they want to subscribe to the record club because we're sold out. So the best way to do that is email me at info@headywaxfiends.com, and probably be able to get people in January. We will have some extra copies of Live from the Get Down Polyrhythmics available in January. The dog's coming in.
It's all good.
And then I did just find out last week that the Powers That Be got some copies for the venue. So
awesome.
All of your Portland pals could probably pick one up mid to late December, I would assume, at select shows at the Get Down. Hey, stop barking at me. Ophelia gets really jealous.
Yeah.
And, so that's where we're at right now. It feels good to be sold out.
Good.
The next question is, do I want to stay desirable and have people really think about leaving because if somebody's going to take their spot, it'll be a while before they can get it back? Or do we add more subscription spots? And I haven't really even begun to think about it yet. We might be bumping it up mid next year, but like all of my deals are so far out that it's not like I can really change to grow in January or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think, man,
That's a great problem to have.
one thing I've learned,
is a real
is roll with the punches with this. And the more I try and figure out what to do with it, the less whatever I figured out happens. It just, I got to just go with it.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I said too. It's like, I'm on this slide and I'm just going to put my feet up.
Yep. And enjoy the ride, man. Let's
But
just
wait,
enjoy the ride.
are you guys bona fide? Oh,
I got a blue check mark on Facebook now.
So good, man. I'm
all
verified.
right, you're bona fide,
Yeah.
verified, bona fide.
Hey,
He's
Kris,
bona fide.
I love you, man.
We love you guys so much too. It's really good to catch up with
Give
you guys.
give my love to Chelsea and pet the pups
Yes.
for me.
Absolutely will do. And I'll hear you guys on. Are you back on Monday?
We are
We're
back
on
on Monday.
Monday.
Back on Monday.
We're back.
Monday, I'll be there. Love
All
you
right,
guys.
guys. We'll talk to you
Peace
soon,
out,
man.
Kris.
Love you,
Bye.
man.
Later. That's a good human being right there. That's what like doing the thing with integrity looks like.
Yeah.
Like he could just be like, "Fuck it, I'm going to open it up and have 10,000 people in there." And it
no,
turn to
he's
shit.
doing it right, and the success is paying off. That's dope. That it's like sold out now and capped at the moment. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of members.
500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that group is like alive. They're
Oh, yeah.
talking, they're sharing, they're doing that. And so that takes attention. And then you start to like know the people and care about them and like them. And when you open that up, your attention, how can you pay attention to that many people?
Yeah.
You can't.
Like,
That's
if you're that person that like likes that close attention, you know what I mean? Which he clearly is. You know.
and what he's doing too with getting the members involved and doing all the different stuff, because that's exciting when you see what's a Great North special. And he sent us the album, and we're on the in the liner notes and stuff,
Yeah.
and they like to see
That was
your name
awesome.
on stuff. Like he was talking about his legacy of all these records being around after he's gone and stuff. That it's dope to have your name on something that's
gonna be
gonna
there.
last for a long time.
Especially in a world that is like, 2-second swipes and 30-second commercials and,
Yeah. Boom.
on to the next thing.
Forgot.
This thing lasts forever. So congratulations, Kris. We love you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us again. And go to headywaxfiends.com and peruse, and maybe you can get on the wait list and Somebody decides to drop
I
off.
love that. Maybe you can get on the wait list.
Yeah. It's a thing.
No, I love it. It's amazing. Great.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
We missed you, Chelsea, but
Chelsea.
We'll catch up soon.
All right. Well, until next time, take care of each other. Smile as stranger safety third. Hydrate. And Christmas is coming. You just get ready. Because it's gonna do it.
The holidays.
It's here.
We love y'all. Peace.
Ho, ho, ho.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? One simple road. Shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hi, this is Henry Kay, host of the #1 music history podcast, Rootsland. Come with me on a journey to Kingston, Jamaica, where we explore the world of reggae music and the untold stories of some of the genre's greatest legends. From the ghettos and tenement yards where the music was born, to the island's iconic recording studios. We are so excited to team up with Osiris Media, the leading storyteller in music, because as you'll hear, sometimes the story is the best song.